So it is 7:03 p.m. and I am calling the April 28th, 2026 Hamilton Planning Board meeting to order. This meeting is being recorded. Because we have a member on Zoom, I will take roll. So when I call your name, would you please indicate that you're present? Jonathan Poor,
Jonathan Poor, present.
Bill Wheaton,
Bill Wheaton, present.
Emil Dahlquist,
Emil Dahlquist, present.
Matt Hamill,
Matt Hamill, present.
Darcy Dale,
Darcy Dale, present.
and Marnie Crouch, present. I note for the all present that Emil experienced a problem with his eyes, and so I am taking two matters out of order unless anyone objects. I believe these two matters are ones that involve him, and then once we're finished with these two matters, he can excuse himself and get some needed rest and shut his eyes. So the first order of business then is going to be what's on our agenda as the last item, and that is election of officers. So as you all know, we had an election and we have a new planning board member, Matt Hamill. So Matt, welcome. And so at this time, we need to consider who the planning board would like to have elected as chair and vice chair. So I open the discussion to the members.
I would like to nominate Marnie Crouch for the chair.
I second that.
So we will take a roll call vote, and I think I should not vote on
Is
that.
there any discussion?
Oh, any discussion?
No?
No discussion. No one else wants the job. That's the subtext.
No.
Jonathan Poor,
Jonathan Poor, aye.
Bill Wheaton,
Bill Wheaton, aye.
Emil Dahlquist,
Emil Dahlquist, aye.
Matt Hamill,
Matt Hamill, aye.
and Darcy Dale.
Darcy Dale, aye.
Okay, so the next officer that we need to consider is the vice chair.
May I nominate Emil Dahlquist as vice chair?
Of course you can.
Second.
Second. Emil, do you accept?
Yes, I accept that. Thank you.
Great.
You're welcome. Roll call vote. Jonathan Poor,
Jonathan Poor, aye.
Bill Wheaton.
Bill Wheaton, aye.
Emil, do you want to vote for yourself?
I'll stand.
Matt Hamill,
Matt Hamill, aye.
Darcy Dale,
Darcy Dale, aye.
and Marnie Crouch, aye. Thank you for that. So the next item, I'm taking it out of order, is the special permit application for the property that is owned by Mike Gladchun and Lisa Ting. And so I will ask our planning director to read the public notice that was circulated in the Hamilton Wenham News on April 10th and April 17th.
Note the planning board public hearing. The Hamilton Planning Board will hold a public hearing to review a special permit application pursuant to Maine General Law, Chapter 48A, Section 10 of the Hamilton zoning bylaws, Section 9.81, on April 28th, 2026, at 7 p.m. at the Hamilton Council on Aging, 299 Bay Road in Hamilton. The applicant property owners, Mike Gladchin and Leah Tai, propose to replace the existing non-conforming accessory structures with the larger accessory structures at 176 Willow Street, Assessors Map 55, Lot 175, Zone Town Center, Downtown Residential. Anyone wishing to speak on the matter, please end the hearing. The application materials are on file, available for review or electronically or in person by contacting planning departments. Please note that this application was previously noticed as error and a zoning board special permit application under outdated section of the Hamilton zoning bylaws. So previously, this would have gone before the zoning board, but with the new town center zoning.
It does before the planning board. So could you also represent that that you have in your possession, or the planning department has in its possession, an accurate abutters list?
Yes, and all abutters are noted.
Okay. So at this point, I'll invite the applicant to speak.
Good evening. Brian Stein with Van Stein Architects, representing Mike and Leah Ohlers. So as you know, we're on a corner lot on Willow and Hamilton Ave. The lot is undersized per current zoning. There's currently a 2.5-story single-family home and an old, what we're calling a workshop building, large shed, if you will, that is about 3.5 feet off of the property line on Hamilton Ave. The owners, having just 2 parking spots and a third driver in the home now, are looking to build a single-car garage in place of the workshop. The thought is to essentially keep the existing 3.5-foot offset from the setback or from the property line on Hamilton Ave, and extend back, a normal 2-car garage or a single-car garage depth about 23 feet. The reason for trying to keep that setback as it is, their existing rear porch off of their kitchen is trying to keep a nice shot into their backyard, a view from the kitchen into the backyard from their porch. If we were to move the garage to be conforming, it would completely block their back porch. So the thought is to essentially keep that front setback. The width of the building is very similar to what is there now. There's actually, Mark, if you can scroll almost all the way down, I'll show you pictures of the existing building. There's what's not indicated, was never on the survey, was that little white structure with the doors that house trash cans and so forth. So that's even closer to the property line than the actual foundation of the building by about 30 inches or so. So do you mind going to that site plan real quick that I just sent you? We did a little overlay of this. Of the new over the old there. The old is dashed in the light blue. So you can kind of see where the back porch with the steps are up the house there. We have a nice still clear shot into their backyard. There. Sorry. Hey, there we go. So the back of the garage roughly lines up with where the house is, like the side of the house. And then there's 2 parking spots to my right here, next to the garage. So the doors of the garage, or the door of the garage, sorry, will be off of Hamilton Ave. That was a slight error on the north, south, east, and west on the elevations, but the garage door will face Hamilton Ave. So as you know, this is for a special permit, given we have a non-conforming structure per setback, and per the new bylaw, there's supposed to be a 20-foot setback between buildings, which building code requires 3 or more, typically 5 or more. And we're proposing here 8. The original one was just over 13. So again, it's a non-conforming situation in both aspects, and what we're looking for is a special permit. And we, as you know, the bar for that is the legal bar is this substantially more detrimental than what is there now? That's what we're here to kind of discuss. And then if you can go back, Mark, to the main application, I do have a quick rendering of what it looks like. That's the front on Hamilton Ave on the left, small dormer up top. There's one small room up top, stairway inside. And then can you scroll down? Yeah, the other rear and the side. Can you scroll down a little more, please? No, we are meeting the height requirement. Actually, are you on the right? Is that the latest? Set? There's the other.
The one you sent me today.
Is that the one I sent to that? Okay. Can you scroll down a little farther, please? Because there should be a little rendering in there as well. Oh, yeah, there we go. So, yeah, it'll match the house, essentially. The house is kind of a dark blue, slate blue, And if you scroll up one more, sorry, the existing building has a eave height on the main portion of it of about 12 feet. We're proposing ours is about 10 and a half. Yes, their overall roof is higher, but that eave line is kind of brought down on purpose to kind of remain low, as low as we can to the grade above the garage door. If you keep going down one more, sorry, there are a couple more. There we go. So this is looking kind of west on Hamilton Ave. There's so many properties downtown, as you know, that have pretty minimal setbacks. So this is the north side of Hamilton Ave. You know, all those houses are 6-7 feet, if that, off the sidewalk. I don't know exactly where the property line is, but it's probably just past the sidewalk. And there's, you know, accessory buildings all over downtown and houses that, you know, don't meet setbacks, don't meet many requirements, coverage, what have you. So we're just trying to kind of maintain what's there and just enlarge it so it works for a single car. And, you know, not have it protrude, you know, halfway into the property. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Is this a poured foundation on the existing?
On the existing, yes, there is a concrete foundation on it.
Will you be reusing any of that, or
No.
will it be
No.
complete?
No, it's a different footprint overall. And the other reason we're keeping it kind of in the same general footprint and we're not going any farther west is there's that circle there on the plan is a large tree that the owners would like to keep. It's also probably in one of the pictures. If you scroll down a little more, we can see the large tree. Yeah, right there that we're trying to save.
Have you heard from any abutters?
Well, we have one here. Well, Mike Latchman's with me here tonight. Have you heard from, Leah? Yes. The owners. I know they've talked to a number of their neighbors. I don't know if you've heard anything, in the counter.
Positive feedback. Just neighbors couldn't all be here tonight. But how's feedback? Pretty for after this.
Yeah, we use that structure as part of our Halloween decor last year because it's in such disrepair. So I think people are not going to be sad if we can improve on that with this project.
Yeah, since they bought the property, they've, you know, renovated the home. Looks great now. And then this is kind of the last piece to, you know, to be done on the property.
Will the new foundation be a full foundation?
It'll be a frost wall. No, not a basement. No, it's for a garage. So it's a slab with a frost wall.
So I have a couple of questions. So first off, the new bylaw limits curb cut sizes in that district. And the other thing is that there's fairly specific wording in the bylaw about not increasing nonconformity. And so I do appreciate importance of views out the back windows, and I do also appreciate that for that area, this is a fairly good sized lot, and I just wondered if any alternatives analysis had been explored to, number one, limit the curb cut so that it follows the current bylaws, and also not increase the nonconformity. So in terms of the proximity to the existing building, the proximity to the street, and
Yeah, the proximity to the street is not any further.
I understand
right,
that,
yeah.
but the building is taller and wider.
It is taller. It's not any
It is
wider.
increasing the nonconformity.
It's not any wider, but it is taller. But as you know, with single and two family structures, there's much deference paid to nonconformities versus commercial structures in case law. So to your point about looking at alternatives in relation to the curb cut, at least, obviously where the curb cut is now, the structure would, given its length that, you know, to fit a car, would be over the setback or even over the property line if we were to move it over into where those two cars are shown now. So that was, you know, again, as also if we were to even flip the garage 90 degrees and, you know, again, pull in and kind of turn to the right, it's super tight. to do that and to be able to back out. And then we lose, essentially kind of losing a spot and the ability to back out without moving other cars. If we were to, push it farther down to the left on this plan, to the west, you're losing kind of the main part of the yard. You're into where that tree is that they're looking to save. We're trying not to get any farther towards that tree if we can avoid it. So if we were anywhere west, that we'd lose the tree. And then obviously anywhere on the kind of southeast side really isn't an option given setbacks. So yes, we looked at all of that and we were like, well, the tree would be gone in many cases. And if we were to keep the kind of the curb cut as is, then the garage would be over the property line.
Or the question would be, can the garage be at a different angle to the street? Or in other words,
If you rotated it clockwise 90 degrees, then it wouldn't be as convenient. People would have to come in the existing curb cut and go in the garage that way. But if that's...
And it would have to get pushed farther to the left to be able to like back out safely, turn out. You need typically 30 to 35 feet is what you want for something like that.
Yeah, well, if you have those other two...
And so then you're closer to the tree as well. Right.
Well, to Jonathan's point, I think it might be instructive to just highlight the provisions of our new town center code that apply to this subdistrict. So the purpose and intent with respect to nonconformities is as follows. The purpose of this subsection is to regulate and limit the continued existence of uses and structures established prior to the effective date of this bylaw or any amendment subsequent thereto that do not conform to this bylaw, such that all building structures or land in whole or in part will be used or occupied in conformance with the section. Many nonconformities may continue, but the provisions of this section are designed to curtail substantial investment in nonconformities and, when appropriate, to bring about their eventual elimination and/or lessen their impact upon support surrounding conforming uses to preserve the integrity of the town center district in accordance with the intent of this bylaw. And it goes on. Section 9.8.1C, nonconforming structures. A nonconforming structure may continue only in accordance with 5.1 of the bylaw and the provisions of this section. And the provisions of section 5.1 are not inherently inconsistent with what I'm going to lose. Repair and maintenance. Normal repair and maintenance may be performed to allow the continuation of nonconforming structures. Reconstruction after catastrophe or demolition. If a nonconforming structure is voluntarily demolished or abandoned, any replacement structure must be conforming to the bylaw. And then I'll just read the other applicable provisions. Modifications to nonconforming structures which constitute a substantial improvement shall not be permitted unless the structure is made conforming with requirements of the bylaw, or if nonconformities remain by issuance of special permit by the planning board upon a finding that such modification, alteration, or extension shall not be substantially more detrimental than the existing nonconforming structure to the neighborhood. And just for your edification, substantial improvement is defined as any repair, reconstruction, rehabilitation, or improvement of a nonconforming structure, the cost of which equals or exceeds 50% of the assessed value of the structure before the start of construction of the improvement. And so basically you are coming before the planning board, asking the planning board to approve multiple not just through demolition, but you're asking the continuation of nonconformities from with respect to the setback and also the separation of buildings. And the separation of buildings is somewhat of concern because the fire code requires a 20-foot separation.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
Fire code does not.
excuse me, I will try and find,
Such name.
It's 5 feet with no, you know, fire protection of, 1 hour rating or anything like that.
Hard.
I'm sorry, I will find this. Oh, here. It's section 4.1.5. No accessory building shall be located closer than 20 feet from any dwelling or main structure on a lot unless both structures conform with regulations relative to fire safety.
Right, and the building code requires 5 feet with, no extra fire protection that's like a 1 hour rated wall or minimal windows or what have you.
Could you explain to me how shall be located?
For me issue.
No accessory building shall be located closer than 20 feet from any dwelling or main structure on a lot unless both structures conform with regulations relative to fire safety.
Right.
That says 20 feet. I don't know where you're getting 5 feet, but do both structures conform with regulations relative to fire safety?
Right, that's what I'm saying. So in the building code, 5 feet is what is required when there's no, rating on the buildings, right? So if you were 3 to 5 feet, you have to have a certain fire rating on the buildings.
Well, if I may, I think the issue here is what does the bylaw say, not what the building code is going to send. It's a different
Right, and
standard.
Right. And
So I think what you're finding in 2 areas in the bylaws, the 20 foot is a minimum. It's in both the tables and it's in the accessory buildings.
right, but where the existing's 13. Yeah, the existing's 13, right. Right, like I said, we're not conforming on both that and
Right.
existing on both that and the front setback.
well, is there any reason why you can't locate this? Is there any reason why you can't build this structure in a manner that would make it conforming? And if that means moving it further toward Union Street or further back, you haven't really presented the planning board with any other reason than preservation of a tree. And I drove down Hamilton Avenue on our way to this planning board meeting, and I noted that this is the only garage that is as close to the street on this street. So most of the garages conform to the setback requirements in the new town center code, except this one garage.
There's one down that's about 10 feet off. I did that one too. No, you're right. Most of the garages are set back from the street, but most of the houses don't conform either.
Right. Well, that's true.
And this is a corner lot too.
Right, but
So
the
that's the difference.
object of this zoning bylaw is to eliminate nonconformities if there's demolition, and that there's no getting around it. You're demolishing the existing structure. So, as I said, the only reason that you've presented for continuing nonconformities is the preservation of the tree. Am I correct?
Stop sun.
Generally, yes. It's also just proximity and,
The property line.
again, part of it would be another curb cut somewhere too.
Existing building. So
And again, if the structure wasn't here already,
legal setback.
your point is completely valid, obviously, because we'd be somewhere else on the property or wouldn't do it.
It's not.
But since it's here,
In terms of
deference is given unless it's substantially more detrimental. And I think that's what the law says, that you have to say, is this substantially more detrimental than what's there?
It's a lot more. It's a lot more than that.
Well, I think that the definition of substantially detrimental has to be viewed in the context of what this town center code is intended to do.
No, I think it's what's there. It's already non-conforming. And is it substantially more detrimental than what's there? That's the bar, legally.
So it is a larger building, it's a taller building, and it's the same distance from the property line, and there's also the issue of the curb cut, which is again in the bylaw. So, and that
Well,
was-
the curb cut thing, again, can be ameliorated by rotating it 90 degrees and sliding it. I don't know what that direction is.
West.
And then you would have enough room, if you slid it 10, 15 feet, you'd have enough room to pull the car in that way.
You could also rotate it off axis, so
You would and lose the tree, yes.
So
you could rotate it off axis and not lose the tree. So,
So it would be this, I mean,
That would be
it would be the
lot.
same building. I mean, it's just rotating it and sliding it. A little bit more pavement between the two existing parking places and,
If I may, that would not allow us to have two cars parked in the driveway at one time and pulling the other car out.
well, it depends on how far you slide it.
Well, but then if you don't make the curb cut any wider, then it makes it even harder.
We don't need a curb cut because the cars are going to be basically coming in and out on the existing curb cut and then making a right turn into the garage.
You're saying push it back to the west farther,
That,
and if the curb cut stays the same, then you've got,
the curb cut stays the same. You come in, the curb's there, make a sharp right turn and go into the garage.
right. But then you can't park two cars then in the driveway.
Yeah, you
Right.
have to move them or, park them later or whatever.
there's quite a bit of distance between the property line and the edge of pavement. So the backs of the cars are, a good car width inboard of that. So I think that what you're hearing from the board is that the lot's large enough and flexible enough for a more conforming approach to the bylaw than having multiple nonconformities be increased.
So agree to a point. You still have the same structure. You still have the same, generally, setback off of the property line, give or take a little bit, right?
What I'm
similar.
saying is you have the choice of also, it doesn't have to be perpendicular to the street. You could angle it. You could, as you slide it, you can move it further away from the property line. You can still maintain, not have a corner aiming at your view. What I'm saying is there's enough area there to explore different options that are that don't increase the nonconformity as much on multiple levels.
As much, right. But
And you might be
the
able
question is this substantially more detrimental than the existing? And I would argue no, because it really isn't any wider. It is deeper, which, again, because it doesn't matter a whole lot here. It is a little taller, sure.
I
But
think what the planning board is encouraging you to consider is a way of making a conforming structure.
it's not going to be conforming. I think everybody realizes it's not going to be conforming.
Well, conforming in terms of the setback and separation.
Well, now-
It could be.
absolutely, it could be conforming.
It could
Your
be.
choice, not because you don't like it, that you don't want to conform it. I think that is the issue there.
Well, part of it is,
That's actually important. Now, it's true, it can meet all dimensional requirements, but it's not your preference to do that. And you could just say that.
yeah,
My problem is we have the zoning code, which is pretty clear. There are 3 violations standing there, and widening it is another one. That widening the curb cut, where you're allowed only actually 1 curb cut per property in this area, and it's got to be 12 feet wide. That's it. Your grandfather the parking in there, so I could stay where it is. I don't know how you get around the other curb cut without going in right adjacent to that parking area. So I think Bill had a good idea, rotate it. And again, these are choices that have to be made. And from our perspective, I think the real critical thing is it's not are you doing detrimental harm to the community? Because I don't think that's the issue. The issue is, are you following the bylaws?
no, that actually is the issue, though.
Can do it. Why?
That is the issue. In a non-conforming situation, I've been to many zoning hearings, including in Hamilton, and it is the bar is what is there now, and what are we doing? You're already non-conforming, right? The bylaw.
This is not writing codes on the fly. You have to set the codes in front of you. And the detrimental part of it doesn't come in. It's a ZBA issue, but it's not at the planning board in this downtown district.
Well, no, it is a planning board issue now. It was a ZBA issue. You're right. Until, but the law doesn't change.
Right. What I would hope that you would do is take the opportunity to consider what the planning board is suggesting, and come back to us if you can with a structure that make more of an attempt to make a conforming structure instead of just reproducing the nonconformity. This is our first application under our new town center code. If every application is just, it's not more detrimental, we might as well rip up the code. I mean, because if you replace an old deteriorated
not
building with a
making
new
it-
one, that's always going to be the argument, and I don't think
We're
it's
not
fair.
increasing its nonconformity. The current structure is nonconforming in the sense that it's too close to the property line on the front. So the proposed structure is not increasing.
The
what-
separation is stress.
The building is taller, and the separation is different. So
But
it's taller.
that
increases
does
the
not have to
nonconformity.
do with nonconforming.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, it does.
Well,
Code
it does.
requires
The
it.
separation does, but again, it's
And the
already
height does, and the position does, and the curb cut does. Those are all nonconformities.
You're not allowed, it's
Under
not
the-
a very tall building,
under
it's
the-
only 22 feet.
Yes, but it's in a non-conforming.
Accessory?
It's in a non-conforming position in an already non-conforming.
But it's already nonconforming.
And you're increasing the non-conformity. If it was the exact same volume, you wouldn't be increasing the non-conformity.
which you're
But
you're
what
allowed
you
to
would
do though.
But what you would be doing, even if you replicated
Why
under
is
the
the height of the existing building, there's a little shed, why is that non-conforming?
just let me go back to
What
one
part of the law
important,
says you can't have,
one important part.
Too close to the front setback. It's too.
I understand, I'm talking about the characteristics of the building that make it non-conforming. It's too close to the front property line, I understand that. But it's not too tall.
No. But if you make it taller, you're taking a non-conforming building and making it more non-conforming. If it's already non-conforming it's
By
in the wrong-
virtue of its height?
No, it's in the
Okay,
wrong
so I'm
position.
saying
It's
you're
outside
taking
the-
each
it's outside the
issue,
setbacks.
each aspect of its nonconformity,
Yes.
okay, is not being made more nonconforming.
It's closer to the existing building.
Yes, and closer
that's
to
an
the existing
increased
property,
nonconformity.
closer to the existing property line?
No,
No, to the
No, you
existing
don't.
dwelling unit.
Workshop is gone.
no, actually you don't. That is not true legally in a situation like this.
Well, but
But no, that's not what case law says.
so
in a
it's
non-conforming
closer to
situation.
the existing dwelling.
Challenge it. Maybe that's good to be challenged.
Yeah, no, closer to the existing dwelling. Okay, that I can see. But you could fix that by just moving it 5 feet.
What you have to also understand is the way the bylaw is written is if they literally replicated this building in shape and in kind, just made it a new building, that's a substantial improvement. It's more than 50% of the market value of it. Therefore, the bylaw says it needs to be conforming, even if you were replicating it exactly. And in this case, it's not being replicated exactly. There's additional nonconformities being added in the curb cut, proximity to the primary building, and size and height.
The only
So
one that
it's a-
really
it's a question of how
the
to-
curb cut's the issue that you're making it bigger when it's technically not. Well, that might actually be non-conforming now. I'm not positive, but just because you take something down in a non-conforming situation and you rebuild it doesn't mean it has to follow the new bylaw. That is not what case law says.
That's what the bylaw says.
The bylaw says, but not case law is for a single family or two family.
To Emil's point,
This is not- This is an
you challenge it.
accessory structure.
It is an accessory structure, but it's accessory to a single family dwelling.
Right. Well, so I am offering you the opportunity to go back to the drawing board and see if you can address the concerns of the planning board, or whether or not you are going to stand on the principle tonight, and we will have to.
There's no interest in making this an ADU?
No.
There's no intent on doing that?
No.
Yeah.
No. Not even big enough, really. No, it's one just single room up top for.
Different guidelines might come to play. for
Well, it
an
would
ADU.
not really, but it's not. Yeah, that's not right. Look, okay. I mean,
Up to you. What do you want to do?
we'll just leave it. Just repair. Shut up. Like, it's like down the valley. Like,
We're here asking for a special permit, so we know what we're asking for. So,
What we are suggesting is that you consider moving the building, the accessory structure, back from the street and farther away from the dwelling unit to make it comply with the dimensional width.
we have pieces. Yeah, we did look at many options, and
and they don't are.
it is true what the gentleman online says that that's not our preference, right? So if we are going to do this project, replace this building, which is in somewhat disrepair, it's a very awkward building that we inherited. We're going to improve upon it. We want to maintain our yard. We want to maintain. So that's not an appealing option to us. So I don't think that we would come back with a new plan that met close conformity. We would probably just leave the structure as it is and then figure out something else, quite frankly. But this is we're just trying to address this building that is sort of in disrepair. And I was not aware that we couldn't even just. I was assuming we could just repair it in its place, but it seems like, as I just heard, that's not even a possibility for us. Given
You can repair the existing building, but if you substantially improve it by over 50%,
anything you do,
It's if we look at it.
So if we touch it at all, you're telling us we're going to have to put it
To special permit.
in the middle of our yard, which is not appealing to us. We validated this property for the yard, so I don't think we would come back with an alteration or a different plan. So, unfortunately, and we do value the tree. I know you made a comment on that. There's been a lot of trees in the part of town that have come down over recent years, and
Yes, per town.
I do. That's a sad development. Said it values.
So they would be kind of towards the rears of the properties. If you go further away, they could move it all the way back there. Lost the situations.
Yeah, I think you really have to look at the whole village area and like, what does it feel like, right? Like this building, it's been there for I don't know how long, but like there's so many houses and accessory structures that are really non-conforming. I have one that I rebuilt 3 years ago with an ADU that's 7 feet off the property line, right? And, you know, there's multiples down there. You know, is it out of character, right? Is it out of character? No, not down there. It's not. You know, it's.
Can I speak as an abutter? I think at some point we should. Yeah, I want to take it as public or West Ham out.
yeah, well, if you wish to speak, you need to identify yourself for the explain.
Sean Farrell, 15 Hamilton Ave, and Clutter. Glad Sean's here. For me, this is the best plan for the neighborhood because it keeps the existing kind of non-conformity, and the rest of the neighborhood doesn't actually see that the non-conformity has increased a little bit. I don't even think it's enough to really raise any eyebrows in the neighborhood that it's backed a little bit farther into their property because it looks at the same footprint almost. It'll look like the same structure. In fact, it will beautify that area of the neighborhood instead of the little bit of the eyesore that little building has become with the doors falling up front of it. It's just kind of sad that it seems like they might not be able to do that. I think it would be more true to the neighborhood if they moved it, did the additional curb cut, or changed it so the drive was on the side of it, when then they would lose their other few parking spaces, and then they would only have really one car space that they would have to move other cars in and out. It just seems more hassle.
Resulting more cars parked on the streets. We're trying to.
Yeah, and I've cars off the street. I think that's a good point that Mike just said. There's a lot of cars parked on the street. I parked on the street. There's a lot of cars parked on the street. It's a tight street. And I think that would increase, especially on that corner, cars parking on that corner of the street for people trading in and out of that street, which some people use to cut through. So I think it would be actually kind of a detriment to the neighborhood.
I do want to reiterate something, but just think again, sorry, that's a term that Brian mentioned. There is not showing up on this current drawing a 4 foot, including the overhang, which not including the overhang, a 3 foot filled out on the front of this building, which is the doors falling off. That we also inherited. We didn't put that there. So the new building would actually be inclusive of that 3 to 4 feet further back than the current existing structure. And there's also another build out up to the side of it that was tacked on. So it was a glass blowing studio, and these very creative in what they did. So I just want to reiterate that this structure would actually would be ultimately 3 feet farther back from the street than the current structure because that build out in front of it is not shown on these plans.
There's no foundation.
There's down. And it's not. That's actually a good point. It is because it's like right on the street.
Yep.
If it actually is farther back.
Do any members have any further questions, or are there any other comments from anyone online?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to recommend and suggest to pull that new building all the way back to the rear property line like a lot of other houses have, because then you're just increasing the amount of asphalt.
Right. And it's right in a corner lot, right? It's just, that doesn't make sense.
Even sliding it over by pivoting it, we would have probably 50 to 60 feet of asphalt in the driveway as part of the house if we had to come in and entangle it, as has been suggested as an alternative. So we wouldn't want that. And it would not be a ceiling. I don't think. And it is a special permit, so you guys can rule as you'd like.
Right.
Which I would hope you would side with the neighborhood. What?
Any further discussion? I'll entertain a motion with respect to this special permit.
So there's, just to be clear, there's no interest in possibly taking a second look and coming back in a week.
We've just sort of
We've
years on this, and we finally got to a point where this is something that we thought could work. So we had explored other options. So now I don't think.
Yeah, but you're taking away, I mean, a lot of room.
The tradition of the 3, the sight line, yard, all those things are critical to us. I appreciate the opportunity and the guidance and the opportunity to do so, but I don't should rule it.
It's always a problem when you get a lot of projects that come in.
Give it to Brian.
That the owner with the best intent wants to improve the property, and it's
Give it to Brian.
no building what's there now, what's they supposed.
Troy?
The issue is that can every single lot support every single type of construction that is proposed by an applicant? That really is our problem, because in a lot of cases this could work. I think because we didn't see any kind of alternative or demonstration of all the disadvantages, that's a problem, because we have to again look, I think, at the final of what are they saying. And they were done for good intention, I think, to capture some of the shower system. Brian says he's right. You look at that whole area, that street, and it's almost random, not random, but it's within a tolerance, and that's why an 20-foot setback was required in the code. That it isn't an absolute line, but there is some variation required. The problem in this zone is that it is small properties, so you have much tighter constraints. That being the case, again, I think to now take a look at every single property that comes in and wants an addition to try and make anything happen that the particular owner wants to introduce in there is a real problem. And I don't, and that as much as I think that the planning board here wants to accommodate these sorts of things, we like to have people want to improve their property, certainly in the downtown area. We're all trying to support this, but we're not giving any really support, any good argument except, well, we don't want that, or that's not the best, or there's too much asphalt there, or something like that. So I don't think there was a legitimate attempt that we've seen here to show that, first of all, it's impossible to do it, because it is possible to do it. The problem is, if you do it that way, with a building that size, from what I understand, you're just not going to like it for some reason. So it's not the conformity that's the issue. It's we want to conform it in the manner we would like to see it, which is fine. It's your prerogative, but it's difficult for me anyway to kind of support something like that in the planning board, just to go against your zoning code, because it just opens up a precedent again. The next person that comes through, yeah, it's true, and they're going to say, well, you did it there, why not do it for us? Or that's going to be such. If you just ask them nicely, that them change it or whatever. I appreciate all the work that's gone into this, but it's not for me a compelling argument really to go forward with this.
Well,
For all of the reasons stated, all the nonconformities that are really clear. There's no ambiguity to language. And, when you take a building down, you demolish it, you start from scratch, now you follow the code. So it's just not it's not a matter of do I support the owner of the property to make improvements. I certainly do in ways. I would just hope you could do it in conformance with the code. But that's my position on it anyway.
So again, here if this workshop wasn't here, right, we wouldn't be here. We couldn't do this without a variance, right? This is different, right? It's already non-conforming. There's a difference in the law when you have a single family, two family, lot, and you already have a non-conformity. You don't have to bring it into conformity with bylaw if you already have a non-conformity. Even if you tear it down and build it new, it's a special permit. It is true. Case law.
I just read you.
I understand that. Case law for these types of situations, is it substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood? Is the bar that we have to meet here? That's it. That is it.
I think that before we get to that far, you have to show that you can't make it conforming. And you just don't
that's
want to
actually
make
not
it.
true. That is
You
not
don't
true.
want to make it conforming.
No, if
It's just like ZBA has their hardship. You can't claim that,
that's variance.
that works in every case. That's a tough
Right.
argument to make.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a variance is a different bar than this.
Yeah.
But you can't get a special permit in a case like this if it's not already non-conforming.
But when you take it down, it goes away.
No, it doesn't.
So that's-
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. You are allowed to reconstruct and have the nonconformity with a special permit. That's why we're here.
Yes, yeah, no,
If you want to build it even exactly the way it is now, in exactly the same place, if you're rebuilding it, if you're demolishing it, that's the way the wording goes.
That's not case law.
Please. I think we ought to go
Well,
over this. And if the
they show the special permit to get around it.
it should have been reviewed with town council then, because it's obviously
Run it back.
But it's not that we can't issue a special permit.
right.
What I might recommend is there's no harm in holding this for a week. I can talk to Robin. I can have her here at the next meeting.
Yeah, because you have a special permit to get around the law.
I'd love for her to clarify for everyone what the legal bar is in this case.
But I do think you can keep it sticking your argument that that's the only bar that's just in that the mental they could. The planning board argues you're increasing these non-conformities, so therefore it would be substantial. They can make that, I think, pretty clear. It's a fairly subjective.
Well, the substantially,
It is, but this
to a
is
point, but
prescriptive code. What it says is put the thing here instead of what
But you're-
old codes have been doing. So you're kind of looking, this is all the code in terms of how you interpret it.
but the law didn't change.
Is to build to a prescription.
No, see, I think that's what needs to be clarified
Yeah.
because that's not.
Emil's right. It's this is the first crack of this apple. But we had that very long meeting with Robin about there are these general laws that govern non-conformities.
That's correct.
It is, and I understand some of the law that you're citing, but this new code, as Emil says, is very prescriptive. So it's clear in what it says. So how the law in a different context applies to this code, we might want to take a look at. And if you're willing to come back in 2 weeks, it may be 1 week.
1 week, yeah.
1 week.
Yeah, so I think Robin needs to address how Section 6 of Mass General Law supersedes essentially this.
Well, the Attorney General approved this.
No, I
bylaw,
understand.
So they're very aware.
No, I understand
of
that,
what
but-
Massachusetts law says when they approve these bylaws. So
Right.
that,
Because Section 6 specifically talks about nonconformities like this and reconstruction, what have you. And yes, certain towns, they, limit certain things, but in this case, it doesn't say, or Section 6 doesn't say, oh, now you've got to follow this particular bylaw when you reconstruct something. That's not the case with Section 6. And a
Mass
non-conforming.
general laws.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get that clarified if
Yeah.
you're willing to come back in, is it a week?
Was it made?
May 5th, yes. Are you amenable to that?
Good.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to continue this application for a special permit till May 5th.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, when I call your name, please indicate your assent. Jonathan Poor,
Jonathan Poor, aye.
Bill Wheaton,
Though no,
Emil Dahlquist,
Kimball Alpestein.
Matt Hamill,
That animal, I.
Darcy Dale,
Darcy Dale, aye.
and Marnie Crouch. Aye.
Good. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, good.
it's an amazing. I mean, something with that. And just being able to facilitate.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is a site plan application by Select Energy Development LLC, and it's my understanding that the applicant would like this matter continued until June 2nd. Do I have a representative here?
Is there anyone here on the Zoom call from the school district or from the applicant side? I'm a citizen on it. The select?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm here to speak in favor of it.
Oh, the continuance?
It's needed, yeah.
Yes. And I believe that one of the abutters might have a conflict. Andrew, are you here?
Yeah. I am here. I'm not available on June 6th, so anytime before that, anytime after then, I'm available. But June 6th,
That's June 2nd.
June 2nd.
But June 2nd, I'm not available that entire week. From the 2nd until the 18th.
Yes, please.
Thanks.
I don't know if you're amenable to a further continuance to say June 16th?
Before we vote on that, can I make a comment?
Sure.
Okay, I'm Bob Knowles, 201 Main Street, Wenham. And I've been in the solar industry for a long time, for 16 years now. Renewable Energy Massachusetts, REM LLC. We develop very large ground-mounted solar projects across the Commonwealth. I'm a partner and co-founder of that company, and in partnership with Sincarford Capital in New York City, our financier. My other job is as one of the co-founders, founding partners of the Hamilton Wenham Climate Action Team. And under the auspices of that organization, it was 3.5 years ago that I went to Steve Claremont, one of the director of development for Select, and said, how about if we do a parking canopy at the high school? And it was 3.5 years ago that we did a site walk, and we all agreed this would be a great project. And it falls under our zero carbon by 2040 mandate that both towns and the regional school district indirectly are abiding by. It was a year ago, June, that I organized an all hands on deck meeting with about 12 people, a handful of state reps, 3 National Grid reps, and a lot of other people from Hamilton Wenham. And at that meeting a year ago in June, and Select was there as well, it was at that meeting that I really urged National Grid to pull the project out of their Cape Ann group study, which had been mired in that study for about 2 years. They did that. They agreed to that, which allowed the project to move forward starting last summer. So this project has been a long time coming. Here's my suggestion on the lighting issue that I hope you all will consider. I wonder if it would make sense to issue the site plan review, the permit, contingent upon, satisfying Ms. Giro's, lighting issue, and allow the project to proceed. There's some timing and financing issues that are at stake here. Three.
Good idea. So we can do that.
Okay.
And it may be subject to a condition with respect to the very specifics of the dark sky compliance. Because at the last meeting, there was a discussion of the temperature of the lights. I think your proposal was about 4,000 Kelvin. And I know that Mr. Lowe would like warmer colors, but then we can consider the color rendering index for the lights,
Yeah.
number of lights, most importantly, that the lights are turned off when they're not needed.
Quick question. Why is there not a plan here tonight to review?
So you're not with the applicant.
No, I am not. I am representing the Hamilton Wenham Climate Action Team, a 501c3. I have nothing to
Okay, and you
Here's the-
I have nothing to do with Select.
Oh, okay, then you're really not in a position to speak to the continuance. Excuse me. But you made a good point about the condition.
I have
don't-
more points, but go
I don't
ahead,
know if
Jose.
The applicant is agreed to all this. Go ahead, sir.
Applicant?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I have to. I am the body representative, and I agree with that. Totally, we have been to a condition today. We can do that. I want you. We don't have to make the plan in front of you tonight. If they could verify that it prepares the plan. So there is 2 more weeks before I can. After I get those automatic plans, I need to incorporate my drawings. If that is the reason why we are not going to be ready before June 6th.
Could you
Ready on that, and they are working on it to get it forced.
Could you get the plans to the planning board a week before June 2nd?
If you want to, for the please do, I would, but I do not produce photometric plan. Usually, if in our field, if it's a building commissioner, review, if you would, especially an upgrade like this, that is allowed by right under state law. But again, you don't want to sign a case of the document like a big broad of law. But usually it means that building commissioner, you expect out there are the one and overviews what it relates safety into stuff like that. But we are telling me that we are going to provide everything for you. I just do not have it ready and will not have it ready prior to us June 2nd. But you're requesting to continue it to June 2nd. Is that correct?
Jose?
You're still there? Sorry.
Yes. Can I speak for him off the record, I guess, on the record? Yeah, the answer is yes. Could I make one more point? If that's okay?
Yes.
There is a lot of time pressure on this project, including the Iron Rail Wenham project. On July 4th, the Trump administration is basically terminating the federal investment tax credit, 30% of the project
Right.
on that date. So we're under some time pressure.
Right. Okay. So here's what I think is what I'm proposing, that we continue this to June 2nd. Mr. Lowe, I think that, even if you don't have the photometric plan, I think that you have successfully identified the issues with respect to dark sky compliance. And so if by chance we get the photometric plan before you leave on your vacation, we'll try and get that to you. But I think that we understand your concerns and that we can allow this project to move forward subject to conditions that about the dark sky compliance. And if we do, in fact, need to have a further hearing on the photometric plan, we can actually accommodate that. But I think we would all agree that it would be quite tragic to lose the financing by delaying this beyond June 2nd. Would you agree with that?
I don't have any problem with your proposal.
Have fun.
I think
Such much.
do it that week, so I really will not be available. That I will try to review whatever I can before that week. Perhaps I can be the thought, perhaps I could make the teachers select so that I fully understand what the proposal is at that point, and I can make any comments in writing for consideration by the planning board. I don't wish to hold this project up at all. I understand these financing issues. I find it pretty amazing that the abutters were not involved in any of these prior meetings. The first thing we saw was 2 weeks ago, and now it's going to require a whole, 6 weeks for the information to be provided to the planning. But all that being said, I'm fully agreeable to what you're suggesting.
Well, am I right that I summarized some of your concerns, that the warmth of the lighting, the number of light fixtures, the fact that they have to be fully shielded, and the
Partial sensors.
motion sensors, motion sensors probably would be the best way to go, as opposed to turning them off at a certain time. But the motion sensors really make a lot of sense. Would they be?
Could I just add
predominant
to
issues?
that list?
Yeah, sure.
It's both its cutoff angle and also the installation detail. So
Right.
if it has a big lens protruding and it's tipped at an angle, again, you're staring at that lens from a distance. You need to see how it's installed, what angle it's installed, and whether it has a protruding lens or a cutoff.
Right. So we understand that its solar array is not far from wetlands, and we want to make every effort to reduce glare and all the concerns that that you raised. And I know I transmitted to the planning board a program that was held at the Hamilton Wenham Library about dark skies, and I know the American Medical Association has pronouncements about really inappropriate lighting and how the former tone lighting is better for human health. So there are many reasons for the planning board to look into this closely. So if you have the opportunity to provide us with any more input, that's fine. But I think we also are concerned about this lighting here as well. And we want to make sure that in projects going forward in Hamilton that we're sensitive to these lighting issues, because the toll of so much inappropriate and egregious lighting is taking its toll. It's hard to see the stars on the eastern seaboard anymore. So what we'll do is we'll continue this matter to June 2nd.
So you can't, or you don't want to issue a permit
We can issue
contingent upon.
We can issue a site plan review
Okay.
with conditions relative to the lighting.
Thank you.
So we will not, I don't think there's anyone here who wants to hold this project up.
Thank
so
you.
we'll lose your funding.
Thank you.
So I'll entertain a motion to continue the site plan review.
I move to, oops. I move to continue the site plan review to, is it June 2nd?
Second. Do I have a second?
Second?
So when I call your name, please indicate that you assent. Jonathan Poor,
Jonathan Poor, aye.
Bill Wheaton,
Bill Wheaton, aye.
Emil Dahlquist may have left the meeting. Mark Grimold,
Maggie and White.
Darcy Dale,
Darcy Dale, aye.
and Marnie Crouch, aye.
Okay, so you're not, just so I'm clear, you're not issuing the permit contingent upon
It'll be a condition.
you're moving the meeting.
To June 2nd. So we will make our determination as to site plan review on June 2nd, and if we have to issue a condition with respect to the lighting.
Okay. That's what they were, so they're just grading.
We're just doing what
Okay.
we want.
It's awfully tight, but here we go. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next item on our agenda. The HDC is promoting a project in the town center, and Rick Mitchell is here to talk about the project part that is proposed for the corner of Bay Road and Railroad. And this project really plays into our master plan implementation letter, because the planning board and the HDC, are looking at the town center, and we were unaware of these plans for the pocket park. And we're looking at potential grant applications under One Stop for Growth, and we talked about potentially getting support from the HDC. So except for the UTIL presentation, the next three items on our other business are kind of your one discussion.
Sadie?
Factor 10, then. That's
Do we have to get up and look at pretty pictures?
I can move this up to the central.
Please. I second.
Whatever you want, guys.
Maybe what you look here. I looked at 10.6 of those by the way, and where is it? Rick asked me in a phone conversation whether this pocket park would require site plan review, and I can't see why it would. I'll just say the purpose of site plan review is intended to allow the town to review an application by a property owner or the legal representative of the property owner and impose reasonable conditions on development allowed as of right or by special permit, which by its nature or location has the potential for significant impacts on traffic circulation, no. Public safety, no. Public utility, no. The environment, only positive, and neighborhood character and appearance. It's a pocket park, yes.
So hopefully we kind of sneak in under the.
Well, if you come back for site plan review, we haven't really filed an application for site plan review, so I can't say we'll grant it. But I can't imagine why it would be denied.
Okay.
Given, I hope cars aren't going to be driving across it.
No.
If they are, it's a disaster.
So just some, I handed out that very small version. There's a larger version we can look at here. It has colors. This is that piece of property that's a the at Betty Road. It's
Oh, yeah, there's the bit.
yeah, I mean it shows M&T Bank, that building, Railroad Ave crosses the pet store. It's big.
And then the post office then.
Post office.
Is going
Yep,
to be.
post office is next door. Yeah, this is not going to happen because they actually own part of that. This was so it's going to move back to here.
And this is existing plantings here.
I believe so. Yes. So this whole area is owned by a condominium trust. So we've spent the last 3 years negotiating with the condominium trust to get a 30-year license for this to use this piece of property for public use. And then the idea is that the HDC will invest up to $250,000 to take that piece of property and move it into a small pocket park with the goal of making it an attractive area for people hopefully to stay in the downtown and possibly do some more shopping or staying in the downtown and enjoying it more. And it's part of the beautification plan that the HDC has been working on. About 3 years ago, we applied to the state
Mass Works program for a $5 million streetscape for all of Railroad Ave and then Willow Street and then Willow to Asbury, redoing the sidewalks, planting trees, upgrading pedestrian, but that was not funded by the state. So we decided to focus on something that we could actually control. So this is what we're proposing. It's not the final plan. Hopefully by next Wednesday, we're going to have a final plan with construction and bid documents that we'll be able to put out to bid and get real pricing on. But with I talked to Marnie last week and said, hey, we're putting this together. I don't know what the procedure is. Does this require site plan review or it doesn't?
Is it?
So anyway, I thought I'd come before the planning board and preview this and get a determination of what comes the Western Oil on bin. This right here is going to be a granite bench, and then this will be getting determined. It's a patio area, and then based on comments, they've asked for actually put in some of their seating benches. So
That was some flowers.
those will be added.
Flowers.
This will be a landscape barrier from the parking areas. The whole point is to try and make this, separate
Yeah.
from, and there'll be new tree plantings.
Flowers. Flowers. Flowers.
I don't think there'll be flowers here because that's a maintenance issue. As it is. So we want to make it
Maintenance free.
as
Maybe the guards might.
And,
do
as a
temporary
public
stuff.
park, people come in and cut flowers and take the flowers. So we,
Walk their dogs. With that.
So the limit of work is the existing sidewalk, so there's no improvements to the sidewalk.
yeah.
So if in the future somebody wanted to move the sidewalk or make a bump out or alter the parking, it wouldn't really affect anything currently there. Could dovetail.
Well, actually, this a condominium, the condominium trust, basically this is Dave Cutter Avenue.
Yep.
He owns 51%, and the balance in majority is the veterinary clinic at ISU Bank. M&T Bank has been the most difficult to deal with because we're dealing with somebody up in Buffalo, New York. It started off saying, oh, well, you need to pay us rent. So I said, we're investing money to improve a piece of your property. We're not paying.
How many square feet is this? I mean, it's not. This is not.
It's
really,
about 40 by 40.
It's not usable for anything.
No. Yeah. So,
But it would be terrible for parking.
but
And
and so the bank owns this. This is the bank is the bank is a shareholder in the condominium trust. Okay. I think
Did you say it was $250,000?
that's what we haven't put it out to bid. We did a preliminary estimate last fall, and then we sort of what we had, and the numbers came in around 200. So we're guessing.
Have you done a cost-benefit analysis on how much traffic it will bring in, or any kind of idea of what you'll be getting for that 250?
so, but the other thing because you're lawns, if there's no irrigation and we have drought,
Well,
with
that's
3
my guess is. Well, that's one of the elements we're looking at is irrigation, because it becomes more and more expensive as you add these elements to keep it green.
but with the
So
water bans, I mean, I'm just
right. So right. Then we get into water bans. Well, then we couldn't technically.
It was our landscaping, all stones.
Cactus?
So yeah, we're going to put in turf, like astro.
Yeah.
No, so
No, I'm just.
that's good.
So, that's to be determined.
yeah.
There may be an exemption for public parks. I own about watering, or it may just turn brown. Just like
Well, if you plant trees, you've got to water them. I mean, they won't get established without water.
Is it created to collect its own water, or does it?
well, there will be some water on site for watering, because these trees these plantings will need to be watered for the first couple of years.
Where's the nearest hydrant?
And then so it's right there.
Yeah, there you go.
So has there been any thought about having it collect its own water? Like in Portland, there's a lot of streetscapes where what they do is they use it as a sort of a stormwater drainage strategy, a rain garden, and so that it sort of waters itself a little bit. Well, that's just it's mostly it's grading, and then creating some sort of useful way to collect water. And
We haven't gotten into that level of detail.
but that would certainly make for more
Well,
resiliency.
you know what? Before you finalize everything, given the water ban, this is a problem. I mean, it's just a problem. But you do have to have irrigation to begin with because the trees will die. They have to be watered.
Right.
But the lawn over time, there may be an exemption for a park like that. I don't know.
Right. So anyway, we wanted to, again, we're going to just, one of the things we're looking at doing is putting granite bollards, and would there still be a chain, like a black chain hanging here. So I think this help something to give it a feeling of enclosure. So I just wanted to give you a heads up what's coming, and then, get a sort of a read from you. Does this require a site plan?
We'll look into that. My initial assessment is maybe not, but then if you did like the most cursory application imaginable, I can't imagine why it wouldn't be approved.
Yeah.
I mean, so how long is
Or like if it doesn't require site review, I'd still encourage you to come in for like a non-binding discussion.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, this is our non-binding
Once
discussion.
you have a final thing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, when
I'll be happy to.
you just that got your eyes, and then, but I, as a practical matter, I cannot imagine for the life of me how we can say no park.
When will the construction begin if everything goes according to plan?
That's
Oh wait, I should say we'll issue the site plan review if you support our grant application.
There you go.
which grant
I hope, Mark. What's the status of that? I thought we were going to try and get some.
MAPC grant application?
No, this is
One stop for growth.
it's one stop for growth.
Oh, it's the one-stop program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Mass Warrens that we applied for.
This is a planning grant, though, for the public sphere and also how the public sphere impacts the private sphere. It's more, looking at you actually wanted money for, actual construction. We're looking at planning how to bring the Crosby's Marketplace pedestrians across the street so they don't drive.
Yeah.
And how to integrate the parking so that there can be shared parking.
Make this safer to cross.
Oh, no. I mean, that's what that grant application was to do. One file and said. And
Traffic calming.
2 economic islands separated by a state highway and people drive their car.
You bet.
From one end to the other.
From one lot to another.
So we're on the same page.
Yep.
So whether, I would hope that you would agree.
Actually, do you need any? Have you written the grant?
No, we haven't. But
Because I'll be happy to share what we wrote because I think it would help.
Yeah, learn from it.
yes. So it's the Massachusetts Downtown Initiative Capital Grant Program. It has 2 components. One is planning, and then they have implementation. So we hope to get the grant for the plan because that encompasses much. It actually, we hope to incorporate other pocket parks.
Yeah. Got
So-
it. Great.
So if you have some spare cash that you could contribute to our,
Well, this is probably going to eat up a big piece.
I know, but even if it's a small amount, when you go for the grant application and we say the HDC has provided
When is this due? When is this due?
June 3rd.
Early.
June 3rd. So
Well, can we just endorse it without money, or do you want not?
I want money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I'm not going to put a dollar amount on that because the support is critical.
Okay.
And so even if it were a nominal amount,
Like
$10,000. Hey. Even whatever it would be, you have the cash. I know you do. The town meeting.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not, the object is to work cooperatively, not whatever. But that would go a long way to
All right. Well,
meet our mission.
I'll put that
and your
on.
mission.
Right.
Put that on the agenda for Wednesday's meeting.
Oh, please do. And ask for 25. So when your members,
So, okay.
come on, Rick.
So, anyway, so we'll hopefully have a final plan next week that we can. What do you want to do to come back at a future meeting?
You do it, just for the fun of it. Do a site plan review application and
Is that online?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, email me and I'll help you out.
you can do it.
I've never done this stuff before.
After being on the planning board for 20 years.
I don't think we have to talk about traffic and whatnot. And you have the little bollards keep people from running or anything. So it's really just a way of public.
Will dogs be allowed? I know everyone runs from the vet and takes the dogs.
No, we're hoping.
The question.
Sorry, Ann, we don't have a digital version of this, but they're talking about improving this piece of land into a park.
No, and I understand that, and I think it sounds like a fantastic project. My only question is whether there's any lighting.
No.
Good idea.
There's lighting down there in that area that's pretty egregious, and maybe it's the bank lighting. I don't know, but there's some lamp posts that are unshielded and they're on all night long. So if those are not part of the pocket park, that's great.
Yeah, lighting is on my radar. So
No, I couldn't agree more. But I got to tell you, Ann, the bank, the person we're dealing with is actually probably one of the worst people I've ever dealt with. He's just rude and inflexible and so.
and
The farthest I stay. You can talk further about that. No, that's great. It doesn't have any lighting with the pocket park, so that was my question.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful project. Thank you.
yeah. So let's work cooperatively for this grant application. And I have a letter to Joe about trying to get boards and commissions to meet regularly, because if we had not, we could have been working cooperatively on these things for the last year.
Well, that's one of the biggest problems is everybody's operating in silos.
Yeah, and that's not good.
Because sort of the other piece of this that would go along with what you're talking about is we have been working for over a year with Joe and Tim Olson to get into the capital plan a phased approach to the redevelopment of this and Willow and to Asbury, what we had proposed to MassWorks but didn't get.
For sidewalks and stuff.
Right, streetscape and pedestrian safety on those areas. So that what you're talking about would be perfect to get everybody on board. Say, okay, given the demands of financing in this town, you're not going to get $5 million or $10 million to make it happen, but can we do it in a logical, once you've got your plan in grand, that would substantively reinforce what we're trying to do. Say, okay, let's do the railroads. And then, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, Willow, that kind of.
Yeah, it's under a large.
It's under a larger planning system.
Stepwise, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that this is very constructive. And we have to vote on the letter that I drafted. But I will have, Mark is amenable, have Mark actually hand deliver the letter to Joe, and he can make the representation that you are supportive of these kinds of semi-annual meetings to get boards and commissions working together, talking to one another about what they're thinking and what they want to do.
So can I get a copy of this grant application,
Oh.
Mark? Can you send it to me? Sure. Because I've got to toss to the boards today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, can you do that? Can you get it to him? We're looking at this. Actually, I kept a clean copy. I don't have the actual application, I don't think.
Or I can find it online. Just if you send me a link or something. Sure.
Well, this is the,
Summary.
yeah. And then you have to make sure you get the right one-stop, the closed application. They're different ones.
The community one stop for growth.
Yeah, but they're different applications for different.
I just need to know what I'm talking about.
That's it.
Of that. Can I keep this?
Yes.
All right. Good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Nice to be fast.
Yeah. We got this. The most difficult one, this special permit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and especially when you're dealing with the first ones, because it's like, okay, so what do we do with this, and how does it fit into the context of?
All the other applications were difficult. Gotta get this one right.
And I can sympathize that HDC picked the money for the actual consultant that helped develop.
Right, that's true.
All right, thank you.
That's good.
Thank you.
Okay,
Marty, before we move on too much further, do we want to sort of frame what the question is to Robin about that special permit application so that the question is clear?
yes, and that question is, in view of the prescriptive nature of the town center bylaw, and I mean, the language is really,
So to me, the question is,
must. I mean, it says must.
yes, so the question is the only standard not substantially more detrimental?
Or is
there a standard embedded in those must statements in the bylaws? Otherwise, they're meaningless.
Right.
They're
Is
really
there-
meaningless.
in other words, is there a predicate to getting to that question of substantially more detrimental? Do you have to establish that there is no way that you can create what you want through conformities?
With conformity, right.
With conformities. So in other words, you want to keep the tree. Okay, that's your choice.
You want to keep
But
your
if
view
you
out the back
tear
porch.
Tree down and move the garage back, you can make it
Or
conforming.
don't
You
tear
just-
the tree down and just move things.
Right. Yeah. Whatever. There's a way around it.
There are many ways around it.
You have to show that there's no other possibility than to have a more non-conforming structure. And that's what they're doing.
So can we frame that clearly to Robin so that we have a definitive answer?
We can try, and what I'll ask her to do is at least zoom into the meeting next week.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can frame that issue and send it to you. And, because I have a problem with the word reconstruction a little bit. They are demolishing and rebuilding.
It's not a gray area. It's black and white. The reconstruction is black and white.
Well, the language was repair, reconstruct, whatever. And so it was to me, reconstruction is not just, reconstruction seems to me.
No, it's a new building. It's a new building. It's on the same, they proposed to put it at the same location, but it's not using the foundation even, right? So it's a new building.
Demolition.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't really even fall under the other statute. So we really shouldn't be talking about this when he's not here. So I will bring that issue. But that was the issue I think the planning board was trying to articulate, and he was jumping to the conclusion. But if we just jump to that conclusion, is it more substantially more detrimental, then there's no standard anymore. Because if you tear down something that's falling down and put something new, you satisfy the standard. But that's too easy. It's not the intent of this town center.
Right. So you'll craft something to give to Mark, and Mark.
Yes, absolutely.
put it in front of her, and then maybe she'll attend the next meeting.
Okay, so let's vote on the letter to the select. Did you have a chance to look at it?
Yes.
And you, Jonathan, you had something.
I guess my question or comment last time was, how, you can make it kind of a wish, but how do you make it a mandate or a habit?
Well,
What's the trigger?
Well, we have the town manager assisted by the planning directors. Envisions that the town manager schedule the meeting. And then it's up to the attendees to actually implement it.
Okay.
But just talking is half the battle.
Yeah.
Just knowing
Just being in the
what's
same
going
room.
on.
Yeah. But but the issue is who instigates it, who
The town
schedules it.
manager has
Okay.
to schedule it.
Okay.
So this will go to the, is Bill Olson the new chair of the select board, do you know?
He didn't run. Bill Olson. Oh, Bill Olson. I'm sorry.
Bill Olson, did he?
I don't know. I didn't.
Their meeting was last night. I think he's probably still the chair, so I'll double check that. But I yelled a paragraph at the end. He's like, we paid all this money to this master plan.
And we did all the work.
We did
People
all the-
showed up.
Yeah, and we put it on a shelf and forget about it.
Nope.
So if there are no other comments with respect to this letter, my thinking is let's get it off. Regardless of what it says, we've got to get started on having some meetings here so we're not caught short with, a pocket park that, it's a good idea, but we could have,
Others.
I think we might have had some input in the
You do?
it's too late now,
With it.
Well,
Well, not too late, but it's
Like, you don't want to step on it now. That's counterproductive, but, I want $25,000 tomorrow.
I think that's a good number.
We'll see what they come up with. So do we want to take a vote on that?
Yeah, I move that we vote on the Hamilton Planning Board letter
To the
the select board.
about it,
Oh, yes.
implementation.
Of the master plan
Yeah.
2024.
Wait a second.
second.
So I think Abel's no longer with us, so all in favor?
Aye.
So I will get that off.
And I think it's really smart to have Mark hand it to Joe and look him in the eye when you do it.
You know what? I think I have this. What's today's date?
Do I have 28?
20.
I don't have enough space. But okay, I can send the. I'll send the email.
Okay. Excellent.
So now we have minutes. So, Darcy had some comments on the minutes. I had comments on the minutes. Is there any discussion about the minutes?
was
Do you want me to make a motion or?
I think there was one correction though.
clear.
Yeah, I made the correction. Okay. Yeah, she can make a motion.
Okay, I move that we vote to approve the meeting minutes of April 7th and March 24th,
And that would be subject to the
subject to the corrections
numerous
and,
corrections.
yes, of course.
that I have made, most of which are not substantial. The only error I saw, and actually, Darcy, you picked it up. Pat Norton did not attend the March 24th meeting, so I had to make a correction as to the his comments about the groundwater protection order by district. They occurred at a prior meeting, and so I made the correction. And then I just found a typo or two, and so do I have a second?
Second.
So all in favor of approving the minutes from March 24th and April 7th, subject to corrections.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
It's a comfortable page.
Into it.
And then last thing, you're not on a new site of the GPO date. Did you ever get any comments from Pat Norton about that?
See, I didn't put it agenda, but I will put it on next.
Yes, I just don't want to lose track. So I think so not too bad. But it's 8:40. Ooh,
So excited.
hot dog. There's only one thing left to do.
Oh, I'm going to make a motion that we adjourn.
Yes, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're done.
Oh, that was a good meeting.